I'm Bridget with PotomacBeads.com. Join me today in creating this Guinevere bracelet using our OvalDuos and Ginko beads. If you need any of the materials, they were listed at the beginning of the video as well as underneath me in the description area. You'll find a full list of all the materials along with exact colors and links to both PotomacBeads.com and PotomacBeads.eu. So gather up your materials and come create with me. So to start this Guinevere bracelet, I have about a wingspan worth of thread, and I'm using 2 needles here. So I'm going to start with my right needle, and I'm going to go up through my first ginkgo. I'm going to add 4 15s. I'm going to go down through the second hole of that same ginkgo that I just added on. And I'm going to add my second OvalDuo here. And I'm going to add on my second ginkgo here. And just pull that. And from there, I'm going to pick up my second needle. And I'm coming out of this first OvalDuo here. So I'm going to go up through that ginkgo that we just added and add on 4 of my 15s. And then go down through that second hole. And as I do that, I'm going to go down through the second hole of my ginkgo and straight through my OvalDuo as well as that second hole of the ginkgo on the opposite side. So I'm just going to take my needle and go straight across through all of those beads. And just pull that, and you'll see how those ginkgos just lay quite nicely in between those OvalDuos. So we're almost doing a right angle weave here, just using 2 needles. So from this point, we're coming out of our Ginko beads on both sides. Using my right needle, I'm going to pick up a 15, a crystal, and a 15. And then go down through my next ginkgo. I'm going to go through that top hole of my OvalDuo, and I'm going to add on my next ginkgo on the opposite side. So I'm going to go up through that next ginkgo. So picking up my second needle. So here I am, again, still coming out of this ginkgo on that kind of first section. I'm going to add on the same as I did to the other side, a 15, a crystal, and a 15. And I'm going to go down through this ginkgo that we just added, and again, just go straight across through my OvalDuo and that ginkgo on the opposite side. So again, now both of our needles should be coming out of that bottom hole on those 2 ginkgos on top. So we're just going to keep doing this pattern until we have our desired length. So again, we're going to add on our 4 15s to go around the ginkgo. And I'm going to go down through that second hole. I'm going to add my OvalDuo, and I'm going to come up through that ginkgo on the opposite side. So going through my ginkgo, through that OvalDuo that I'm just adding, and then through that ginkgo on the opposite side. And pulling that. And we'll pick up our second needle and do the same exact thing. So adding our 4 15s and then going down through that ginkgo and going straight across through our OvalDuo and our, I keep pulling this off, and our next ginkgo on the opposite side. So going up through that next ginkgo. So again, just one more time. Now we're coming out of that second hole in both of our ginkgos. So here we're gonna add our 15, our crystal, our 15, and we're gonna go down through our next ginkgo, and then through our OvalDuo, and picking up a second ginkgo on the other side. Oops. So going through our OvalDuo, and then up through the ginkgo on the other side. So again, using our second needle, we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to pick up a 15, crystal, 15, and going down through that ginkgo that we just added, and then straight through our OvalDuo and up through our ginkgo on the opposite side. So again, we're just going to keep going with this pattern. So our next, we're going to add the 4 15s on each side, and then go through our ginkgos, add our OvalDuo, and so forth until we have our desired length. So I have my length of my bracelet finished here, and I am coming out of 2 of my Ginko beads up top. So I just added on the 4 of my 15s just to go around the edge of my ginkgos. And instead of adding on my OvalDuo, I'm going to add 4 15s per needle. And then go up through one of my crystals. So add on my 15 O's to my second needle here, and then go up through that same crystal. So that crystal that I have on there, I'm going to go up through that same one. You can just kind of let that fall down there. And from there, I'm going to add on my cup button, which I'll be using as my clasp. So I'm going to do 1 15. Oh, not yet, sorry. I'm going to go up through my cup buttons here. With both needles. And then I'm going to do 1 15 and a crystal and a 15. And I'm going to go down through the opposite hole. So using my second needle, I'm going to go through that same 15 and that crystal and the 15, and then down through the opposite hole. And here you can just kind of pull it tight to get it to lay nicely on top of that crystal. And here I'm going to tie it off. And then I'll burn down that extra thread that I have. And just burn down that thread down to the knot. And I have my clasp on there. Now from here, I'm gonna work my way, I'm gonna get another little bit of thread with 2 needles again, because I'm gonna work my way down to my opposite end here. So I have my 2 needles attached, and I'm gonna go through that 15 and the crystals that we have up here on the top of my button, and down through my 15 and down through my button. And then with my second needle, I'm coming out of that crystal, so I'm gonna go down through the opposite 15. And I'm gonna pull that so that my needles are even amount on the thread. So here I'm coming down through my button. I'm gonna go down through that crystal, and then with one side I'm gonna go through my right side. With my other needle I'm gonna go through my left side. So I'm gonna work my way into that crystal that's up at the top. And then through those seed beads and out through that gecko. I'm sorry, that ginkgo. I'm gonna pull that off to the side, and I'm gonna pick up my second needle and do the same thing. So I am coming out of my button right now, and I'm gonna go through that crystal that's right at the top of the button. And work my way down the opposite side through those 15s that I have down underneath the crystal, and then out through that ginkgo. So my 2 needles should be on opposite sides of my bracelet. So they're coming out on either side. So what I'm gonna do is work my way through just the outside bits of my bracelet here. When I'm going through the 15s that are around my ginkgo, I'm gonna go through 2 and then add 1 15. So it's right in the middle of those 4 15s that we had along the edges. And then go down through those 15s. And then just through the 15s in between my ginkgos. And then up through the 4 that are along the edges. But remember, after the first 2, we're gonna add a 5th 15 and then down through the next 2. And then through the 15 and the crystal and the 15 that are in between the 2 ginkgos. Through the first 2 of that set of 4. where we'll then add a fifth 15, and then down through the next 2. And so on. So we're adding a nice little tip here just above where the ginkgos are. And so we'll do this along both sides, and I'll meet you down at the bottom. So I just finished my edging around my bracelet, and so I'm coming out of these seed beads up at the top. I'm going to come through my ginkgo, so go down through your ginkgo, and then through that OvalDuo, and then up through that ginkgo on the opposite side. And I'm going to do the same with my second needle. So we're just kind of switching sides with our needle. So I'm going down through the ginkgo after coming out of my seed beads, through my OvalDuo, and up through my ginkgo on the opposite side. Okay. So going up through our ginkgo over here. And before I pull this tight, let me just fix a knot that I had going. Okay. So from here, now we're coming out of both of our ginkgos, and we're gonna finish off just adding up another 15 crystal and a 15. And adding one more set of ginkgos to finish off this side of our bracelet. So just the same pattern that we've been doing. So over here, we'll add a 15 and a crystal and a 15, and then go down that ginkgo that we just added. And then across through our OvalDuo and our ginkgo on the opposite side. So here, now that we're on our finishing part, we're going to be adding 5 15s over top these ginkgos. And then we'll go ahead and work our loop for our cup button. All right, so here I am. I am doing the exact same thing that we did on the opposite side of our bracelet. Coming out of our ginkgos here, I added 5 seed beads to each needle, and then both through this one crystal. And then going ahead and working on the loop for our cup button, I have already strung on 40 of my 15-os. So I'm going to go down through with my second needle. I'm going to go down through the opposite side of my first needle, going through all of those 15s. And making sure not to miss any. And don't worry about pulling it tight until we go through that crystal at the bottom. So coming out here, I'm at the end of my 15s. I'm going to go through that crystal. And then I'm going to go through, pick up my second needle and go through that crystal as well. So here you can start pulling, kind of pinching that crystal where you want it, and just pulling on your thread to make that nice loop there. And from here, once you have it nice and tight, with both of my needles, I'm going to go ahead and take those off, and then we can just knot our thread there. And I'm just going to flip it over so that the knot is a little bit hidden on the back side. We're just going to do a regular right over left, left over right. And then there you can trim off your excess thread. And we are just about done. So flipping that over, we have our bracelet finished except for adding those flatbacks in there. So grabbing your flatbacks and your glue, I'm using Loctite, or if you have super new glue, you can use that as well, or any kind of super glue that you would like. And I'm using my red Siam flatbacks here. And I also have my Crystal Fix pickup there. And what you'll do, now a little bit of this glue goes a long way, so you'll just kind of put some glue on each one of these flatbacks. And I'll just do a few at a time so that it doesn't kind of allow that glue to dry. And we'll go ahead and do this all through all those flatbacks on our bracelet. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed creating your own Guinevere bracelet. Remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to be kept up to date on any new materials or any new tutorials we have out for you. And remember to comment below. We love to hear from you. I'd love to see how you changed this up and made it your own, how you changed up the colors, or how this design just inspired your own designs. So remember, if you do need any of the materials for this Guinevere bracelet, it was listed at the beginning of the video, as well as underneath me in the description area. You'll find a full list of materials, as well as links to both PotomacBeads.com and PotomacBeads.eu. So until next time, have fun beading.